No, HanSeo! Oh, man. Why did you have to kill him? No, Choru! Oh, man. I get it. This is the finale, but do you have to kill another good person? Oh, man, you guys. This this finale was just... Oh, man. What more can I ask? Remember, they took 1 week off to make sure that the ending was well delivered, was well told, and everything that they built up was, again, well delivered. They delivered! Because watching this finale, it made me cry, laugh, excited, jaw dropped. What more can I ask? There's really nothing else. And, oh wait, hold up. There's one thing that I do want to ask. Why did you kill HanSeo? They did the one thing that I did not want them to do. They pretty much pulled the trigger on him, literally and figuratively. And man, just watching his death scene was just so heartbreaking. Just seeing him say thank you to Vincenzo, just being there for him. Oh, why did you do it? Why? And also seeing the ending story for Myeong Hee and Joon Woo. Well, first off, I did not imagine their ending to be like that. Like, I knew Vincenzo, mafia, they have their ways. But in my mind, I was not imagining that. You know what I mean? That was crazy. Seeing the tenants be involved was crazy. Seeing Cheol Wook, his scene, that scene made me cry. It definitely made me cry. I really thought it was the end for him. I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad he's alive to be a father for his daughter. Wow. And yeah, I'm glad that everyone got a good ending. Oh, and we finally know where the gold was. Finally. I kind of expected somewhere else. Didn't really expect it where it was at. And I kind of expected Inzaghi to be the guard dog for the gold, but I guess Inzaghi wasn't there. So at the beginning of the episode, Cha Yeong is shot. Everyone is shocked. Try to say that 5 times fast. And then Joon Woo lifts his gun again, this time aiming at Vincenzo. But then HanSeo intervenes, grabs the gun, points it at himself, and tells Joon Woo, stop it. And then tells him, you should have never been born. Then Joon Woo pulls the trigger. Yo, that moment, after Joon Woo pulled the trigger, I felt like time stopped for a good 10 seconds. Because that was the one thing that I did not want to happen. I did not want HanSeo to die. But yeah, they pulled the trigger on him. He was such a good, lovable character. I wanted him to stay alive, to continue running the company in a more proper way, to continue being Vincenzo's younger brother and being his little goofy self. I wanted that for his ending, but no, they pulled the trigger on him. And then after HanSeo falls to the floor, Vincenzo tries to grab Joon Woo. Joon Woo jumps off the balcony into the car and drives off. Then Vincenzo goes to HanSeo. HanSeo gives Vincenzo his phone and tells him, you know what to do. At that point, in the episode, we don't know what's inside the phone, but then eventually we do know. I'll get to that in a moment. And then HanSeo, his last words was pretty much thank you for everything. And we know everything. Being there for him, teaching him, being there as an older brother for him. And man, his death scene was just so heartbreaking. Why? Why did you kill him? And then after that scene, Cha Yeong wakes up in the hospital room. Vincenzo paid for it. It was a nice throwback to when Cha Yeong paid for his. And these two have a good one-on-one moment. I love these two. And Cha Yeong just tells Vincenzo, hey, don't worry about me. I'm okay. Just go and finish the job. And then fast forward, we get Seung Hyeok trying to sign some papers. I mean, he was in trouble anyway. But then he gets a phone call from Vincenzo. Vincenzo told him, hey, if you want to live, I want you to release Myeong Hee. Seung Hyeok, he was very hesitant to listen to Vincenzo, but then he was like, oh, so if I do this, you're going to let me live. Vincenzo says, yeah, but not knowing that Vincenzo recorded the conversation, which is pretty much leading to his death. And then fast forward, Myeong Hee does get released from jail. There were evidence of her taking the entire blame because she received death threats from Joon Woo. Now, as she was being released, Vincenzo called her and let her listen to the conversation that he recorded between him and Seung Hyeok, which again does lead to his death. And what's crazy is that Vincenzo's plan to get rid of Seung Hyeok was to have your enemy being get ridden of by another enemy. That was crazy. I did not expect that. Then after that, let's go back to Seung Hyeok. Seung Hyeok is out in the public with reporters surrounding him. And then he gets a phone call from Joon Woo. Joon Woo saying, hey, you should have been respectful to me. A random guy comes up to Seung Hyeok, stabs him onto the side. And then some random guy in the back, wearing a black suit, stabs him, what I think it was on the shoulder. And then they just ran off, got into the van and drove off. While Seung Hyeok, he's on the steps now just bleeding. It was almost like running water, just bleeding. What's weird is that the guy in the black suit stabbed him on the shoulder. Well, it looked like it was on the shoulder, but when Seung Hyeok fell on the steps, he was holding his neck and it looked like all of the blood was coming from his neck. So I was a little bit confused there. But yeah, that's how Vincenzo got rid of Seung Hyeok. Have his enemy get rid of by another enemy. Again, first off, I did not expect to see all that blood just running out. That was a shocker right there. And that plan just to get rid of Seung Hyeok, again, shocker. And then let's skip to the next scene. Myeong Hee, she's in an abandoned warehouse. She's on a chair. She's not tied up, but her feet are bloody. I'm assuming that Vincenzo broke her toes a lot and it was all bloody there. She tries to stand up, but she couldn't. Then after that, Vincenzo does some talking, and then Myeong Hee, she sees what's going to happen. And then out of nowhere, we see Vincenzo turning on the sprinklers and it was gasoline. And then Myeong Hee, she knows what's going to happen. You know, she's going to be lit on fire. And then Myeong Hee, she's pleading, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. But we do know that Vincenzo is not like that. Way too easy. Vincenzo wants his enemies to suffer from beginning to end. And that's what he gave to Myeong Hee. Again, she couldn't stand. And remember what Vincenzo said to her at her apartment. He is going to let her dance all she wants. So back at the warehouse, after pouring gasoline on her, he lights up the place. Myeong Hee is on fire. She's screaming and music is being played as well. I forgot to mention that. And Myeong Hee, she's up and about. It looks like she's dancing to the music while being on fire. And that's what Vincenzo said. He's gonna let her dance all she wants, and she did. Oh man, after I saw Myeong Hee's end, I mean, what can you say? For real, Vincenzo looked badass. They did a good job in making him look like a badass. Myeong Hee, she deserves it, obviously. But yeah, what do you say? 2 down, 1 to go. And now for Joon Woo. So he's at the docks with some goons. The tenants came, kicked the goons' butts, and as all that fighting was happening, Joon Woo tries to leave. Cheol Wook puts him in a chokehold to make sure he won't leave, and then Joon Woo pulls out a knife, stabs Cheol Wook in the leg, and then stabs him in the chest. Yo, when I saw that, I was thinking, dude, we already lost HanSeo. We don't need to lose another person, and I know it's the finale. Anything can happen at this point, but I was begging, no. And then Joon Woo pulls out a gun. Yeah, it looks like he was about to shoot the other tenants, but then Vincenzo came, shoots Joon Woo in the leg twice. Hong-shi knocks out Joon Woo, and then they're trying to help Cheol Wook. Oh, when I thought that this was his last scene, I teared up. I really teared up because everything he said was just so heartbreaking. He told Vincenzo, do not take Joon Woo to the police. Make sure you get your payback. Make sure he gets punished before you turn him in. And then he tells Vincenzo, I want you to be the godfather to his daughter. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's right. He's gonna be a dad. He has a kid coming. And I'm like, no, dude, he has to stay alive. He has to be alive for his daughter. And oh man, I really thought that he was gone. Then after all of that, the police came. Vincenzo took Joon Woo. The tenants took Cheol Wook. Now the police starts to chase after Vincenzo, but then the tenants intervene so Vincenzo can get away. Nice. Now at the warehouse. Now this is where it gets a little but also like, yes, finally Joon Woo is getting his punishment. So before Vincenzo does anything, well, first off, Joon Woo is tied to a chair. I think it's the same chair you would see at the dentist. But anyway, So before Vincenzo does anything, he tells Joon Woo what HanSeo told him. When Joon Woo gave HanSeo the watch, there was a tracker inside that watch. So what HanSeo did was put the tracker inside Joon Woo's watch. And he had an app to track where Joon Woo was always at. So that's why HanSeo gave Vincenzo his phone to track Joon Woo. Yo, HanSeo, even after his death, still a badass, good person. Yo, respect to him. And then after that, we get the most brutal punishment I think Vincenzo has done in this drama, where on the chair there was a drill attached to it facing Joon Woo, and at first Joon Woo was talking about the drill. He put it on manual, and then eventually he put it on auto, where the drill would drill 5 millimeters every 5 minutes. And after doing some talking, he turned it on. The drill went at it, just went inside Joon Woo every 5 minutes, 5 millimeters. And like, oh man, that was a brutal punishment. But what made it kind of disgusting was the next morning, we see Joon Woo still in the chair. Yeah, he's dead pretty much. And we see a crow flying and landing on Joon Woo's lap and picking at his flesh. I'm like, ew. That was disgusting, but yeah, pretty brutal. And then after that scene, Vincenzo meets up with Ki-seok and Yong-gun to try to leave the country. They give him a Korean passport, and pretty much Vincenzo says goodbye to Ki-seok, Yong-gun, Ju-sung, and Cha Yeong. Now 1 year later, now I knew it was going to be a time skip. I knew it. I think I said that in my last review, but anyway. 1 year later, Mr. Kim, he's campaigning. He's trying to do good. That's what we see. But then Cha Yeong, Ju-sung, and the other tenants came in dressed in black, looking good and sharp, by the way. They came in, they said some things about Mr. Kim. Are you really doing this to help, or are you trying to get rich off of it? And then they said that we are the Kasuno Gumga family. Oh my god, I love that name. The Kasuno Gumga family. Oh my god. Yo, after what they all been through, they are definitely a family. And then after that, we see Min-sung, remember him from episode 8, who had a crush on Vincenzo. Well, first we see his mom get arrested, and then we see him in jail just crying that he's not seeing Vincenzo, which was pretty hilarious, and I think it was pretty cool to see some past characters. And then we see Ki-seok, who is the director of the agency now, and he's working with Yong-gun to pretty much find Vincenzo, because Ki-seok said that he spent a year trying to find Vincenzo, and he couldn't find him. Then after that, we see Yeonjin with her daughter. And this is where I thought Cheol Wook was dead, because we didn't see him at the beginning of the 1 year later, where all of the tenants says, we are the Kasuno Gumga family. And I'm thinking, yo, is he really gone? And on top of that, we see Yeonjin with Sokdo. I'm like, wait, are these two together? No. But then eventually we do see Cheol Wook. He's alive. Thank you, because we don't need another good person dying. And then after that, we see Midi. She actually has a student now. And while the student was practicing on the piano, Midi sneakily looked at her piano, opened the top, and there was the gold. Now in my mind, I'm thinking, wait a minute, is that where all the gold was? Inside the piano? I mean, there was a lot of gold in the basement. There's no way all of that gold was inside that piano. Not knowing all of the gold was actually somewhere else, where I will talk about in a moment. Now for the monks, the older monk, he had a talk with Vincenzo. They have a nice talk. In the safe, it was just one piece of gold, and it was the gold Buddha statue. I guess that was the monk's portion of it. And then back to the office, Ju-sung and Cha Yeong, they start talking, and then Cha Yeong gets an invitation to the Italy and Korea relations party, which she does go, and while attending, she sees Vincenzo. Yo, he's back. Now before I get to the ending between Cha Yeong and Vincenzo, we see a little bit of a flashback to where the gold was actually at. It was actually at Cha Yeong's house. Not her house exactly, but more of a secret basement where all of the gold was placed evenly to make it look like it was a bed. Yo, that put a new meaning on sleeping on gold, and Cha Yeong was literally sleeping on gold. And now back at the party, Cha Yeong and Vincenzo, they pretty much talk, and then the way that their story ends, Vincenzo walks up to Cha Yeong and they kiss. And then after that, we do get Vincenzo walking and leaving, and we get a narrative of him saying this and that about evil, about good people, about, himself pretty much. And yeah, that was the end of the episode. Now my opinion on the drama, to be honest, there's really nothing to complain about, because if you wanted action, they gave you action. If you wanted comedy, they gave you it. If you wanted scenes where villains got what they deserved, they gave you it. If you wanted a badass character, Vincenzo, they gave you it. Now, when it came to the romance, this is the one thing I like about the producers handling the romance part of this drama. It does seem like all of the other genres were overshadowing the romance, but I don't think it did. Because romance, yes, it was there, but it wasn't the focus of the story. The focus of the story was pretty much good guy fights bad guy. But romance was there to help support it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, again, it wasn't overshadowed. I do think that the story was well told. And yeah, they took 1 week off to make sure that the finale was well delivered. And again, they delivered it. And I'm going to say this again, there's really nothing to complain about, because everything was so well delivered. Every character had their story told. Even if they were a supporting character, they had their spotlight. So, which was pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty much my review. If there's anything else I might have missed while talking about the episode, please leave it in the comments below. Again, this was a good finale. Them taking 1 week off to make sure that the finale was well delivered. It was well delivered. I'm gonna keep saying it. They delivered. It was so good. If I had to rate this drama, I would definitely give it a 9.5 out of 10. And I would definitely recommend it to anyone. If you want action, comedy, this is for you. Romance is there too. Hey, it's for you. So I just want to say thank you so much for everyone who has been on this Vincenzo ride with me. You guys have been very active on the comments section. Thank you so much. I enjoyed reading your comments, like your theories, your opinions on stuff, how much you hate a character, how much you love a character. Hey, I read all the comments. So anyway, thank you so much for being on this ride. Look forward to new videos in the future. Other than that, if you like this video, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. See ya.